Yo, howdy hi everybody. So, if you watched my last stream, I decided I didn't like my focus timer because look at it, it's just horrible. It's a classic case of like, oh, better do a dark theme and not actually using their eyes to create the dark theme. So yeah, that spurred me to, because this is like the only one I liked. This one called Focus. And that's, I've run out of ones I like now, so naturally I'm going to have to build one myself that I do like. So the last stream I built a prototype which then evolved into this, which is currently running 7 cycles in today. I've had a good day today, and essentially this thing is running on a set schedule, which is what this app that I'm working on is aimed to do. So this is a very much prototype, you know, it's as rough as anything. It's all in just one long React component, or Preact component in this case. And then, but I've been thinking like over the last couple of days, like how can you make this thing work for yourself? And one thing I don't like doing is following a sort of set Pomodoro schedule of like 4 cycles with 5-minute break and then a long break at the end of that cycle. I find it a bit restrictive, and just some days I just don't want to work like that. So then what I'm going to do later on, I'm certainly not going to do this on and the MVP will just be a pretty version of this, essentially. Package it up, get it on the App Store, happy days. The future is that you can define a schedule. Maybe I'll add this to the MVP actually. Define the schedule like this. It's in a static way. You add focus, add break. You create yourself a little routine like that. And then the app will run through that routine. Tell you how many minutes of focus you've done, how many minutes of break you've had. And then in the future, I'll probably do it so then you can save schedules and give them names and so on and so forth. But that's when I need to get to like the iCloud sync, because that's probably the point where I think maybe I do a phone app, because it'd be quite nice to get the watch notifications like I get on Focus. Just get a nice little tap on your wrist, which is cool. And then that's about it. But all I'm going to do today is carry on where I'm currently at. And I'm building a static version of it. So this is just the default wave. I think I've got React DevTools running. No. I wonder if it's React. There we go. Development version. Hi, there we go, components. So this is a little wave, so this is an SVG, and essentially what all this is going to do is I'm going to set a status on it with state. For those of you cube aficionados, that'll be an exception, and that'll inform this. So at the moment I'm just going to keep it as this component for now, just to get something going. Essentially what it's doing is it's positioning the SVG in the middle of the screen, setting its fixed position. I'm probably going to have to set a Z index as well. What do you -1? Is that going to stick it behind the body? No, beautiful. There we go. Yeah, and then that means anything else that comes into time of view will render correctly. So that's that. And then what I'm probably going to build now is just the static size. Hey Andy. Hello Hank. Hello Julian Nichols and Todd. Hey Todd. So yeah, let's get building, I suppose. Something not right with the sound, or is it just me? Is the mic, what's the mic saying? Is it a bit distorted, is it, or? You have to click to unmute on Twitch anyway. You sound like a robot. wonder why that is. Just gonna have a quick look. Road Podcaster. Yeah. Sound is fine. Right, okay. Soz Juan, looks like your speakers might be a bit buggered. Anyway, so yeah, hopefully you can learn on this, like how we can build stuff with React that's not utter shite as well. We're gonna, do some proper HTML and all that sort of business. Okay, let's just commit this anyway. Where are we at? Yeah, cool. So git add default colors to wave BG. So we're using Gorko. Have I got that on here? Yeah, this is a little Sass library that I've made that helps you work with design tokens. So I've set it up already. So I've got my colors. Quite a lot of colors in this one. Oh, I'm missing my gold color though. Let's just stick that in there quickly. Let's just do gold. I'm just going to keep gold for now. Tell you what I'll do, show you a little trick of the trade. Go not255.com. What I'll do is I'm just going to pick like a, that's 67% white. So I'm just going to pick on this 57% white, and then what I'll do is I'll just create a shade for that, and that'll be our hover state. Fabulous. Right, so in terms of typography on this, because this is going to be an Electron app, I'm sort of treating myself a little bit. The video and audio seems to always be asking. I think it's these Mac Minis have got crap graphics cards. What's the elevator pitch? I ain't pissing around with an elevator pitch, mate. This is no Silicon Valley shit. So I'm going to use Inter, because Inter's pretty heavy, but I absolutely love Inter as well. But because I'm using this is going to be an Electron app. It's going to be packaged up, App Store job. I can let myself have fun a little bit. So I'm using the major third scale, but then I'm going to add, I've just got like a big boy here, which I'm just going to set statically because that's just a massive font. I might use Dave Rupert's CSS only fit text like I did in this prototype, which uses the new CSS min, which is cool. And that's about it really. So let's think about what our layout is currently here. So we've got essentially what I'm going to do, right? So I'll show you in Figma now. I'm going to do it like this. So in here, that's going to be a header. There's nothing in there at the moment, but I'm going to build that header because I might be putting something in it in the future. And then a footer like that. And that's not quite in the middle, but that's fine. That's my laziness in Figma. But that'll be in the middle. So what I'm going to do in this bit here is I'm going to use Flexbox. I'm going to set a header and a footer, and then this will be Flex Auto in the middle. And that will then contain this content in here. So we use Flex and we use column layout to do that. And that's just going to be in this timer view. But before we get to that, we'll do some global CSS. Because that's compositional layout. Twitch close the tab and reopen. All right, cool, good to see it. Anyway, so that's the idea. Is that it's a nice flexible layout in there, and that's compositional thinking. So we're thinking how everything interacts together. And what that means as well is we can put whatever the hell we want in the header and footer, it doesn't matter. And anything we want in the middle as well. The whole layout is just a flexible squidgy one. So in terms of global CSS, it's pretty straightforward. We'll set some base typography, and that's about it really. It's very component driven, this UI, which is pretty cool, and it's another way of looking at how Cube can be helpful with that as well. So let's just do the globals. So let's just let's just clean up a bit. Q all, right. So here's my global CSS, and I've already applied font base, so I'm applying the inter font in there. What I'll do now is I'm actually going to set a background, and I'm going to say get color dark. And this is just in case the wave doesn't show up, and then I'm going to say the color is get color light. These are just helpers from Gorko to give me my design tokens. The font's already going to be 16 pixels, which is fine. Well, around 16 because I haven't done anything to change font sizes on this computer. I'm going to set line height to be about 1.5. And then what I'll do is I'm going to get headings. So heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. I'm going to say font weight is, in fact I've got a utility for that. Include, apply utility, weight, and then black, so that's 900 weight. And that's not actually right because, what weight are you? Bold, yeah, sorry, my bad. It's only this big boy that's going to be black, I think. In fact, my buttons are black as well, I think, yeah. So ignore that, we'll just do, we're doing it still that because by default headings are bold, but what I might do is just set it to be sure on that. Okay, and then I always want my headings to be line height. I'm going to make it pretty tight on this actually and do 1.1 because Inter's got a quite nice sort of, you've got your X height and then you've got the, what do you call them? The cap height. I can't remember what the bottom one's called. But essentially what I'm trying to say is that it's pretty flat font. So there's no, you're not going to have any like wild G's popping out or anything like that. So it's quite safe to set a really tight line height. And I do prefer a tight line height for headings. Okay, and that's about it. Global CSS, we'll set some default focus styles. What we'll say is outline, 2 pixels solid, and then we'll say, we'll just try the gold one. And then outline offset, let's do minus 2.25 rem. That's about it. So I think what else we're going to need in this is pretty simple UI really. Yeah. So that's some base global CSS. Just get rid of that. Cool. Right, and then what I'll do is we'll say touch src scss. I think I've got a view. So what I'm going to do in this one is I'm going to make a views folder. I'm using the grayscale theme. Yeah, it's one I made called Sut theme. Yes, there you go. Just search for that Sut theme in VS Code. It's black and white. It's lovely. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to use views, and views, if you've been into the Cube CSS stuff, is our compositional stuff, right? So this view, at the moment, this app's got two views. It's got a timer view, and then it's got a settings view. And the way that the app's going to do it is an SPA, because it's just an app. And then instead of bothering with a router, I'm just going to let state determine this. And at the moment, I'm just using the state hook. One thing I'm doing is a higher level state, maybe introduce some Beadle or something like that into the mix. But for now, I can just work with this. And this state will determine what view changes. And then what I'll do is I'll probably use use effect in this point as well. I'll wait for that view to change. And then when that view changes, I'll manage focus as well, because changing the visibility of two things isn't good enough for accessibility. So change like the document title, reset the focus back to the top of the stack. So it's like a page change. So I can work all that out when I plug it all in, essentially. But for now, I've just set myself a little structure like this to work with. And then what I'll do is inside my timer view, I've got my timer view class here. This can be a div, it's just layout. It doesn't need to have any semantics at this point. We could at this point put the header with the roll of banner in there, like so. And then at the moment, this is just going to have a H1 in it, and I'm just going to just statically type Ragu timer like that, and there it is, which is good. So you can see timer view there. It's got, in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the wave out of here, I'm going to pop it at the end there, and then I'm going to do what they call them, I can't know what you call these, but you can basically just do an empty tag like that in React. It's one thing I very like about it. That's just to keep JSX happy, so you've got a single element. The wave I've added ARIA hidden to true on there, and focusable is false as well. Some older tech will let you focus in SVG elements. This is basically just saying, look, this is a straight up background. And then if I got rid of that, we've got our fallback, which is just that dark background. Happy days. Right, so I've got timer there. I'm passing a schedule prop in, and the schedule is my set schedule I like to work at, and I'll set it there. And essentially what's going to be in here is, this is what user setting, this is what you'll set in this screen, either a focus type, break type, and the time in minutes, and then the timer view will run through that schedule, and then it will display the break state or the focus state depending on what the type is, and then it'll time down the actual thing. I've written all the code for that already. I'm just going to plumb that in probably live later today or tomorrow, and that's it running now here. And there's just going to be some variation the way it is. What I'm also going to do as well is going to use a web worker to do the timer for me. A, it takes the timing off of the main thread, and B, it means if I put my computer to sleep, for instance, like if I lock my screen, it'll keep timing in the background, which is what I want. So I can't cheat. And then we're not going to do a for it. I'm just going to do div, and then so class name. I still like to do the BEM style elements. Class name, timer view, for, and then class name equals timer view main. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that the main. I'll say tab index equals -1. And that means it can get programmatically focused. So if I had a skip link at a higher level, I can do that. And then in my actual template, change that to a div. Alright, okay, so my timer view, here we go. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say middle like that, and we'll add a visually hidden class to that. Okay, so let's get that first. So I'm going to pick a little there. I think I've made this a quick tip, if I haven't, I should do. There we go. Visually, this is why I do this really, for myself. Let's grab that. Oh yeah, add that timer view, .css, touch, src, css, utilities, visually hidden. And I'll grab that, plonk that in there. Import it in with global. To just do the alphabet really quickly in my head to see which way around it goes. There we go. That heading should be gone now. Yeah, and there's our middle element, and it's in the focusable main. So the body's 100% high, but then the main app isn't 100% high. Now, what I'm actually going to do is we'll do this in global CSS, and what we'll do is we should be able to just do high 100%. Nope. I think I've just got that min high VA. I'm just going to do the same with the 100 VH. There we go. In fact, no, I'm actually just going to set the timer view to be 100 VH instead, because it is going to be like a flexible sort of app in there. I don't think that's going to cause problems if it goes into a responsive. This is not really much on the screen. You only live once, don't you? Let's try it. So I'll add that. In fact, while we're in global, just got utilities. I don't know why I'm adding comments to the cube CSS stuff myself, but there you go. Composition. Views, timer view, get rid of that. Open timer view. Now composition styles, just layout, nothing else. We're just doing a skeleton for it. So remember we said we're going to use flexbox. We're going to say display flex, and then we're going to make it a column. Flex direction column. And then we'll say, I think I called it body. Do not use empty rule sets. Chill out, pal. Main. So the main, this is a case of just saying flex auto. And now, timer view also needs to be height. We'll do min height 100 VH. Now that can cause problems with iOS and stuff, but you know what? It's all good. Don't worry about it. So header, main is there, and then the footer. So the main, you see the main is filling that space. Thanks to stream. Congrats seeing you home. Thank you very much. Been here a while. Been here over a month now. Time flies when you're having fun. So the header and the footer, I'm going to treat the same. I'm just going to say padding. You're going to add some size from the size ratio. So we'll say, top 700, and then a vertical. I tend to use the 500 as a gutter, especially in a major third scale, and you'll see the middle hopefully change. Header footer, there you go. And then main, we'll say padding, get size 500, and then what we'll do is we'll say display grid, place items, center, not seal, and that should hopefully plonk. So I add footer in there as well. Footer. Bosh. Yeah, that's not going to work, is it, in this context? So I'm going to say the same, and then just do flex direction column, and then justify content center, align items. Another way I could do that is wildcard select the whatever is in there. So there's like a div that encapsulates everything else, and then say margin auto, and then it'll auto place the elements in there as well. I prefer a bit more. It's much clearer when you come into this composition now. You can see like what the crack is. You can see the header and footer have got like padding on them. Cool. The element's going to fit the screen. Cool. Okay. The main element is filling the screen, filling the available space, and it's also saying push everything that's inside that into the center. And that's your composition. That achieves exactly what we've got here. We're going to have put some business in here. What you could say is you could say header and footer's got a min height. To try and keep some, you could actually use grid as well to do this. You could say you could use min max. You could say if you really wanted to make sure that you had. You see, I'm now pointing at my screen, which you lot can't see. I use my cursor. If you wanted to say, right, I definitely want this element you can't see, but this element to be sort of the same size as each other, or to be at least a certain size, you could use grids min max to achieve that. Plenty of options, loads of fun. We get it so easy these days with layout. It's great. I love it. So, oops. Add timer composition. Let's put that up on the remote. I'll sort that out in a bit. Right. I don't think we've even set a repository up on GitHub yet for it. Okay. So we've got, in the timer view, we've got a heading, we've got the time, and then we've got a button. And the heading is going to be either take a break or time to focus. So what we're going to need in the time view is going to do all the state for us. So we'll go up here and we'll say import React and use state from there. And then inside timer view we'll say const type set type equals use state, and then we'll say the type is focus by default, and then we'll say const time set time equals use state, and then I'm going to say schedule 0. Can't remember how I've done it in schedule time. There we go. So I'm just going to pick the first time. Oops. Time. Lovely. And then what I can do in here is I can say main class timer view main. Okay. So we've got H2, and we'll say type equals focus, time to focus, take a break. And the state of wave can be done by type now as well, so I should just type, and I'm going to change that prop type actually to be type. Just quickly change that. Cool. Hello, fat stack fails. Okay. So I should have a heading on the page now. Time to focus. Fantastico. Time view, state focus. Can I edit these in? Oh, yeah, I can, yeah. So do break. Take a break. And then that should be type break. And watch, I'll show you the magic of this now. So go into the wave utility. And then we'll say and let's just grab the wave for a sec. our data type equals break. And then grab these custom properties. In fact, what I'm going to do is just grow up to here and say transition 200 milliseconds and oops, wrong way around. Transform 200 milliseconds linear. Nice quick transition. Move that down there. We'll say scale. So I want the scale to be normal. And then config. So it's C blue slate, C blue slate, C blue slate, C blue, C shade, blue. What was it? Slate. Slate shade. Okay, I'm gonna have to sit down. Back's hurting today. I've been stood up a lot. Ooh, right. Okay. So, where are we at? Take a break. So now I want to change the state to break. It should. Yeah, that's sick, isn't it? And then focus. And what I'm thinking here in terms of like as a design thing is that like I might make that slightly bigger actually. Dare I say I might do a slow transition as well. Might add a bit of bicubic magic in there, but for now we'll just, whoa, not that slow, Jesus. That's what I like to call a full stack transition, where you get like a full stack dev, gets their hands on CSS transitions and do like a hover state that takes 15 years to go through. Okay, so let's change that back. And this is one thing I actually really like about reactive JavaScript frameworks is like working with state is just a dream, and that translates into like accessibility stuff as well. I find it much easier to have I'll do that with the timer. I'll show you how I've done that where I'm using an ARIA role for that as well, and it's just really nice to be able to do it without having to do DOM querying to say, right, I want this property to be this if the state equals this, finite state. So what I'll do is crack open my prototype, format display time. There we go, I need that. I'm gonna nick that straight away. So this prototype is the code that powers this thing, which is currently in a break mode. I'm just leaving it looping now. But essentially what is going on is this is just one big JS file essentially. I've just straight up slapped it in there. But I've come in here to nick these attributes here, and I'll nick that display time as well. Okay, so let's create a new component. First thing we'll do is see where we're at in terms of repo time view. Before I commit that, actually, let's just pop back into time of view. We'll just use some utilities to size this type. What have I said in Figma? 40, where you sit on the scale. Time scale. Major third. Oh yeah, I tend to round it up. So you're looking 2.4. Text 600. Bloody React. Class name. Times 2, 700. Let's do that, and then we'll do MD text 700. And you can see there it's got a slightly off-white color as well, and that is rose glare, I believe. Yeah, so it is. Don't feel very big. Oh, is my size scale? Oh, I'm missing a size. That'll be why. I think that's 2.4, wasn't it? Oops. 2.44. And then time of view. So we'll do 800 and then 700. And that should look better now. Yeah. Time to focus. Right, okay. So let's commit that. Card timer, view layout, and with state transition. Fabulous. And then what I want to do is create a component. We'll just call it timer. And then I'm just going to display the time for now. Make your SLC.js utilities, touch SLC.js utilities, format time. So I'll nick that first from the prototype, because that can just come straight in. Yoink. And then I'm just gonna export default. Essentially what you do is you work out how many minutes there are, and then you pop it into an array essentially, and then stitch it all together with a little thingy bob, and you're off, and you just add a leading 0 in there as well. It's good. I think I nicked it off Stack Overflow, to be honest. So then we'll just do timer.js, and then say import React from React, import prop types from prop types, and then const timer, and we'll destructure the time that gets passed in, and then export default timer prop type sequence equals time prop types number is required. And for now, I'm just going to do return div aria role equals timer aria live equals polite, which basically, in short, reduces how often it announces itself, gives the screen reader user a little bit more control. And then import format time from utilities format time, and then oops, just do that. Like that. Oops. In fact, we'll just set this as a static first. I'm gonna obviously set that as an let just for that. The current will be what the timer generates, and then oops. And then put that in there. Lovely. Nice little component that. And then inside a timer view, we'll render it here. I wonder if it's going to pull that in. Probably not. Timer view time equals time. Have you pulled it? Oh, it's a bit of VS Code magic, isn't it? Is this gonna work? Yeah, boy. So what we need to do is we need to multiply that by 60 to give us the minutes, like so. Bosh. And we'll make this a block in there. Did I give it the right role? What time are we on? 42. Let's just do an hour on this, and then it's not too long for people to watch. Okay. Where's my yeah, roll equals timer. Oh, did I do aria roll? Yeah. Good God, Andy. Right, there we go. And then we'll say div class equals timer. And of course, class name because of React. Let's get a block on there. First thing is we'll import it. Impact, we'll blocks at the bottom. Sweet. Right. What sort of thing are we doing? Can I refresh that? So I'm just looking at my beautiful. There we go. It was just getting a bit hard to see if there's any new messages in the chat. Okay. So we got our timer. So I'm going to set the font size straight up. So it's 180, 11.25 rem. In fact, just get the prototype. CSS in this is absolute trash. This is what I'm after. Clamp. Just gonna grab all of that. And then I'm gonna, so what I'm actually gonna do is, so I'm setting the font size static first as a fallback, and 11.25 is massive, so I'm gonna set the default font size as, so like 7 rem, and that's if everything just goes completely tits up. And then we'll say use the clamp like that, and then we'll say include apply utility weight black to use the heaviest. Oh, and I need to do the font variant stuff as well, T number stuff. Thank you. That essentially makes the font pretty much behave like a mono font. It's got a timer, so you don't want it to be jumping while it's changing the time. I'm just going to change these variables just for my own. I nicked this off Dave Rupert, who made the legendary fit text, and then made it with this new CSS clamp. So really, I mean, because this is going to be an Electron, I probably don't even need to bother with the fallback, but I'm undecided whether or not to do like a PWA and then have the Electron version as well. Undecided, giving myself the flexibility. And then the scaler is essentially how much of the viewport width do you want to use, and we'll have a little play with that in the browser. So max font size is 11, and then we'll do 7 as the min. And that's tiny, but we can play with that. I mean, really, I want it to be 60. Why is that max? 4. Oh, and it must have been a bit of a delay. There we go, that's more like it. Probably want to, yeah. I should shrink nicely. Now that's the only problem with that is we need to add some padding. Oh, there we go. I wonder why that overflow. Oh well, right, something for me to bash my head against the desk at some point. I'm going to set the line height to be 1, there we go. And that'll help bring some of that rhythm back. Fabulous. It's looking pretty good. I'm just going to quickly jump in global and you don't need an outline on the main when it's focused. The reason why you focus the main is essentially to, if you do a skip link, it'll then help the user's tab key mechanics. So then if you skip past all the navigation and then they press tab, then it'll start from the main and then they can tab in, and it just makes things a little bit easier for them. So there's our timer running nicely. Well, it's not running yet, it's just static. But that component seems to be doing a pretty good job of rendering that for us with the utility. So we'll commit that in. Little and often, kids. Fantastic. So what else have we got on this view? Got a button and then a footer. We'll probably just get the button and then we're done on this stream, I think. Don't want to make it too long because it's just a lot of, if someone wants to watch the video later, it's just a lot of video to watch. What we'll do actually is we'll add flow in here as well. My favorite component, utility even. So touch, SRC, CSS, utilities, flow, CSS. Essentially what we're doing with flow, if you don't already know, is we're saying for every sibling element, direct sibling element, add some margin top of either flow space, if that's not defined, 1M, and the M being the font size of the element itself. So it's got a font size of 10 pixels. It'd have a margin top value of 10 pixels like that. I fancy a bit more control in this project, so I'm going to do this, which essentially is like Sass's version of PHP's print, is it? Yeah, echo, whatever. And I'm going to say get size 500. We've got a nice consistent guttering and then vertical rhythm, and then flow space can take over if needs be. And then we'll add that into our timer view into the main. So first thing, we'll add a bracket, and then we'll say flow, and that'll just add that natural rhythm in there. And then we'll create a component. So that's probably going to be my default button, is the big boy, and then I'm going to have the variant, which is the smaller one for these ones. So let's say button action toggle and label equals, and then we can use the ternary again, so we can say type. In fact, no, we're not, because that's going to have a lot more complexity to it. I'll piss around with that later. I'll just say let's go for now, because that'll depend on the state as well, the timer state. So we've got a button, we don't have that included yet, so let's just say touch SRC, JS components, button.js. Okay, let's file that open. Import React from React. Got button equals action label to destructure them out of the props. Speaking of props, import prop types from prop types. Button prop types equals label, prop types string required, action, prop types func required, and then we'll export it. And then check this out. Just do return and then button. Have you heard of that? JS developers, you can actually use a real fucking button in React. Good grief. You get all the keyboard stuff for free, 30 divs for that button component. Yeah. God, can you imagine? There's someone who parades around Twitter. Who just always comes in with like, oh, buttons are problematic, so we just reinvented them with divs. And it's just like, whatever weird usability thing you found with buttons, it's much easier to fix the button itself than completely reinvent it. But I suppose that doesn't make it look as smart in front of your peers, does it? So, but reinventing a HTML element that exists makes it look pretty not smart, in my opinion. All right, components and button. So I could just like style buttons straight up. HTML element. Let's go. Hyperls. Fantastic. But I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say. I wonder if this, I can't remember if this does it with React. Timer view action. If we do that in view, it's smart enough to add that class to any class that you, nah, React isn't that smart, is it? Jesus. So what we can just say is, composition class equals timer view action, and then inside a button we'll have to keep things in alphabetical order, and that can be, or I can't do that, can I? Unless I make that the last. Oh no, I can do that. Well, he says he likes to do things in alphabetical order, then he's got their own all of a mess in here. Type string, and then what I'll do is do class name equals button, then composition class. Let's try that. Button timer view action, because then that means inside of my timer view composition, I can say action flow space. Remember the flow space? We want to give it a bit more than that, so you have to do this with Sass when you're setting custom properties, like literally like print the value, but you know, it's not the end of the world, is it? What are you saying, Todd? When I feel rogue, I throw a span tag in the middle of 4 divs. Oof. Is that for accessibility, Todd? Is that how you make things accessible? Flow space. Maybe that was not enough. That's why, because it's still an inline element at the moment. Inline block. Oh no, it's still not doing it. Button's got to imagine. In fact, we'll keep that prop because that's useful. We're going to use one of those accessible divs. Because then we can remove margin. I believe the reset already does that. There we go. I should probably add hot module reloading or whatever they call it these days. Have I added flow on here? Yeah, I have, yeah. I don't think I've added flow to the mix over. I haven't. I did wonder why it wasn't working. Right, let's quickly style this button, then we'll call it a day, I think. And I'll do some proper front end on it without all of your glaring eyes. Yes, that's more like it. So there we got that nice flow space on there, lovely. Beautiful. Okay. Let's just quickly do that button then. Button dice. Oh, I've not added it yet. You'll notice that I've got VS Code set up as essentially posh Vim. So try and hide like everything that VS Code tries to distract me with. What we're saying is that Inter, yeah, it is Todd. Yeah, I was saying at the start of the stream, like Inter's pretty heavy, and I try and shy away from it usually, but because this is going to be an Electron job, treating myself to using it. I absolutely love Inter. It's a great font. So touch, SRC, blocks, button. Now I'll show you one thing that I made a while ago, which I will actually use as the basis for this. Let's find it on the Google. There you go, button pal. Because people like to claim that styling buttons is really hard, I actually just made a code pen, which gives you that button. I think the copy is broken, remember rightly, and I cannot be arsed fixing it. So we will add, we're going to nick. So the first thing I'll do is we'll make that a class. So say button, replace that with button. Right first, let's just import it as well so I don't forget. Hopefully you've not seen much. I might make this recording a cube demo actually, because this is an interesting way of approaching cube. I should have a bright blue button. Well, maybe not. We've got a problem. Oh, hello. Import blocks block. Jesus Christ. Should we run again? Essentially what I'm using here is, have I got minimal, oh there it is. I've got a repo here called minimal React base, and it's just gives you like a nice little webpack config and a little static asset runner. It does post CSS by default, but I added Sass for this project. Happy days. This makes life a little bit easier. There you go. Then what we're going to do then is we're just going to like shave it right down. So the first thing we'll get rid of that, and the focus style, because that should be inherited, and we'll use the ampersand for that and move it into there. Don't need that. Shows how old that pen is. Don't need that. Keep that, keep that. See you later, see you later. What we'll do is we'll say font inherit, and that pulls everything from its out of context, because by default a button has like sans, I think, just sans as the font. Sans serif. Okay, so background. Oops. Get color. Gold. Color. Get color. Dark. Lovely. Padding wise, what we're saying for padding, I think I made it a nice value, and you'll see what I mean. Yeah, horizontal padding was 69 pixels, but I will use rem values, so it's not as fun as you think. So padding is 1 rem, or 69 in rems, 4.31. There we go. We'll do that, and we can all laugh at that joke together. 4.31 is a nice padding number. There we go. And then what we'll do is we'll say font, and then I like to put mixins at the bottom. Include apply utility weight black. And in fact, that compositional class will come in useful, because I'll say token on there equals text. 900. Did that come through? This font inherit. Yeah. What I'll do then is, instead of saying font inherit, because that's getting a specificity, managed to say that reasonably well. What I'll do is I'll say font family equals do it down here instead. Oops. What was it? It was best. Oh, 6 minutes over at this point. That's a bit. Yeah, it's a bit big, that button. And then we'll add that border radius to it as well. Time of view. Text. Let's do 700. And then button block. Border none. Border radius. I'm going to do 25%, and that should bring each corner in. No, that's shite. Let's just do 2 rem for now, see what that looks like. What's going on here? Oh, there we go, that was more like it. Yeah. Oh yeah, 4M them. Get a nice little pill button. And there you have it. Not too shabby. Right, I think I'll leave it there. So I can concentrate on making it look sweet for a bit. Don't know when I'm going to launch this. I might do some more when I'm plumbing it in. Stream later and oh nice. Take it easy, Todd. Are you doing it? I can't wait to see what you do for style stage. I should probably do another one at some point as well. That was good fun, that. Right, anyway.